Okay, looks like we're ready. So for the third time, I want to introduce you guys to the president of the Chamber of Commerce, Patricia Donaldson here in Hawthorne, and as well as Jan Vogel, CEO of the South Bay WIP. Appreciate you guys coming on today, joining me for another special town hall. Today we're going to talk about job creation, the economic status here in the city, and the job opportunities here for small to mid-sized businesses and the wide range of resources that we have. After the initial first part of the town hall, I will then go into new city business and answer any questions you might have. That's different than what we're going to be discussing today during this section, part one. All right, first we're going to start with Patricia Donaldson. She is the first woman business owner in enterprise security in the state of California, operating active security solutions for the last 38 years. The opportunities, challenges, and changes of operating a small business led Patricia to becoming more involved in the city, county, and state businesses issues by becoming the leader of the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce. Patricia, thank you so much for joining us today and speaking to the residents, both themselves individually as well as small to mid-sized businesses on, different opportunities they can kind of take advantage of here in the city, using your office here with the chamber, and how we kind of revitalize our economy, especially after, COVID-19 did some damage. With that, Patricia Donaldson.
Well, thank you very much for having me. And I would like to speak to the businesses for a moment because those are the ones that we're getting the phone calls from in Hawthorne, and they're very concerned about the COVID and their businesses being closed and what they can do to either reopen them, or the restaurants are very concerned about, even though they're having their food delivered outside and deliveries and all that, they're losing a lot of money because they cannot be inside. And barbershops, hair salons, that's very difficult in Hawthorne because there's really nowhere on the sidewalk for them to do the, do the nails and the haircuts. Those are other people that are very concerned. Also, we're getting phone calls from residents about their children going to school, and they're very concerned about sending them and wanting to know. The question is, do they still keep them at home, or do they allow them to go? And a lot of them, I would say 60% of them, are very afraid to let their children go to school right now. The other question that's being asked quite often is the vaccines. About 70% of Hawthorne calls that we get, they are very concerned about the vaccine. They do not want to take the vaccine. They do not trust it. So those are the kind of questions that we're getting at the chamber. And hopefully you would be able to help us. And I know Jan and other people can help us with these questions. The donut shops are concerned also because they've lost a lot of business because the children come in there before school and after school. So they've lost that business right now. So that's the concerns.
And if you can't kind of go over a little bit about what you do within the chamber and how the chamber kind of can help the small and mid-sized businesses here in the city of Hawthorne.
Well, what we're doing is I'm working with Haidar to help these businesses open up again. There are a lot of businesses that have come to us that are in need of help financially, food-wise, diapers, formula. And thanks to City Councilman Haidar and a little bit of the City Treasurer, David Patterson, they've been able to help the chamber in helping these businesses and residents with food, diapers, formula, and a little bit of money, mostly for the electric bill to keep the electric on. So those are other things that we're trying to help them with. Not too many people are coming out right now to come to the chamber, so we're getting more phone calls than anything else. But they can call me on my cell besides the chamber office number, and I will do everything I can with the help of you to help these businesses.
No, absolutely. And that's one reason why I wanted to have this meeting set up. I know that both yourself and Jen are very integral parts of re-establishing our economy here in the city of Hawthorne, and kind of, bringing back some kind of catalyst to jumpstart what happened during the whole COVID pandemic aftermath. I mean, we're still going through it a little bit now. The governor has released a little bit of the restrictions that he had placed on, the mom and pop shops when it comes to indoor dining, hair salons, nail salons, gyms, and things like that. So I will be discussing that as well, how he's opening up 25% of indoor establishments to continue forward, in addition to new revenue streams and new loans that small to mid-sized businesses can take advantage of through my office and the chamber. And it especially goes with the payroll. So it's something that, could really help with tying it in with Jan Vogel and the South Bay WHIP. So with that, I want to kind of switch over to Jan Vogel, CEO of the South Bay WHIP, the master of all ceremonies at every Hawthorne event that we tend to hold. And with that, Jan, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you very much, Councilman. So the South Bay Workforce Investment Board's been around now for going on 40 years. And we serve 11 cities in the South Bay area. And our job is jobs. That is, what we want to do is help businesses, help residents, anything related, even directly or indirectly, to jobs, or training or retraining. That's what we're all about. To give you an example, well, some of the things I wanted to mention that would help businesses immediately is we have programs where we can provide workers to those companies. And in many programs we can subsidize some of those workers. For example, we are the intermediary for LA County, for all of LA County, for a program called Transitional Subsidized Employment. That particular program basically is made up of single head of household parents. And they're primarily on TANF, temporary assistance to needy families. So what can that program do? So if a business is interested in providing work experience for one or more of those people, we can send them to that business. For approximately 5 months, they'll be on our payroll. We'll pay them. We're the employer of record. For the following 5 months, they'll be on the employer's payroll, but we'll reimburse the employer 60% of the wages during that time. So it's not until after a 10-month period, it may change from time to time, but right now that's what we're talking about. Then they would be solely on the employer's payroll. And it's a commitment from the employer that they're going to keep these people if they work out. But it's a heck of a incentive and a heck of a way, especially now with COVID going on. You could use all the help you can get and as cheap as you can get. Well, this is a program that the businesses should call us because we can provide you people like that. We have other programs too. We have programs for youth, for example, youth or young adults or even adults. We can provide them work experience at viable companies and pay the wages for those people. But that's going to be limited to 160 to 200 hours, not like the Transitional Subsidized Employment Program. In addition to that, if an employer is recruiting people now or in the future, and they're looking for a particular person, let us do that for you. Bring them to us. And in that case, many cases, we can put that person on an on-the-job training program, and they're your employer. That is, the business is the employer, but we can subsidize the wages for 3, 4, 5 months, sometimes up to 90% of the wages. 50 to 90% of the wages we can subsidize during that time. So there's a variety of programs that we have that can directly and immediately help the businesses. So we think that's of great help. A couple things to mention that I mentioned at the city council meeting and the quarterly report that I gave. We give a quarterly report every quarter, we send it to you. This year I gave it to you orally. We're coming up with our annual award ceremony October 28th. It's the 25th annual award ceremony. It's at 3 o'clock. And if you go to our website, sbwib.org, any businesses or any individuals can access that. Won't cost them anything. and they can see some of the businesses that have taken advantage of our program, some of the residents that have benefited from our program, some of the partner and community partners that we've had. So it's a very nice ceremony. We'd like for as many people to join as possible. The COVID-19 has been a tremendous impact, as you know, to our businesses, to our residents, to everybody. We have a great teen center in the city of Hawthorne, and it's right attached to the Memorial Center. Well, we've had to close that down for a while because of this COVID-19. However, the good news is, and this is hot off the press, that September 22nd, we're planning to reopen the teen center. It'll be a little different than we've done in the past. We're not going to allow a bunch of teens in there at the same time. We're going to allow 6 per hour after 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And there'll be social distancing, there'll be masks, there'll be sanitizers, all that. But at least they'll be getting some help from us to be able to help them, seeing that they're all going to school online. Some of them need assistance with that, so we'll help them. In fact, we're starting a new program for elementary school kids. This one I haven't discussed before. It's just about ready to start. It's going to be a mentoring program for elementary kids by high school kids on Zoom. So those elementary kids who are having a tough time working the computer, working these online programs, although I'm sure they could do it better than I can, but nevertheless, some of them can't. And we're going to have the high school kids mentor them so that they'll be able to do a good job and help them with their homework. This is going to start very soon at local elementary schools. So we're about ready to let our local school districts know that, so that we can help those kids. They'll be sort of ambassadors for the program. Let me tell you about these WARN notices. A WARN notice is called WARN, it's Worker Adjustment Retraining Notice. And businesses are required to send that to us when they're closing down or they have a mass layoff that is higher than 50 people they're laying off. There have been 17 such WARN notices from City of Hawthorne businesses since this Corona-19 virus started, affecting 1,104 individuals. Now that sounds like a lot of individuals, and it is a lot of individuals. But think of it this way. For the South Bay area that we're responsible with serving, there's been 29,209 individuals affected by WARN notices and almost 300 businesses. So ours is, Hawthorne is just a very small percentage of that. Nevertheless, if one business closes, it's a problem for that one business, and it's a problem for that one individual getting laid off. We have lots of services for those individuals. We do our best to contact that business, to hold workshops for the individuals being laid off. We're doing online virtual programs to teach them how to apply for unemployment insurance, what benefits are available, to have them sign up for training programs if they like. We have thousands of training programs that they can enter into. And about 90% of our training programs now are offered online. So that's a real good thing for the individuals that need some assistance and retraining. That's all available to them. We also, there's some kind of interesting off the little deviation from what we normally do. The Hawthorne Engineering and Manufacturing Academy got involved with manufacturing face masks with face mask extenders, the ones that go behind your back, behind your head, really? Instead of around your ears, ear savers, right? So these wonderful kids got involved in helping to design and manufacture that, but they ran out of money. South Bay WIB helped to subsidize that. And we gave out such some of those surgical mask extenders to the City of Hawthorne's police department and right. Various medical facilities in and around the South Bay. And now we're giving out some face shields from the same school that was being able to produce them. So that's a little unusual. Another unusual thing is some of the local school districts give out meals, that is breakfast and lunch, but the kids aren't there. So the kids have to come to a place and get the meals because of the COVID-19. Well, Centinela Valley School District didn't have enough bags to put the breakfast and lunch in. And once we did that for Centinela Valley, Hawthorne School District said, well, what about us? We need it too. So we went and we solicited from wonderful employers to help out and donate bags. But over 100,000 bags we purchased ourselves, and we provided to those school districts so that they could provide meals to those young kids. So that's a little different than what we're used to doing, but that's why you never know what we could do unless somebody asks, and we're here to help anybody that needs help. We also have brand new programs because of the COVID-19. Some of the work sites have been limited for these youth. So we started a program, or we're about to start a program, for community meal prep program, where local youth will cook and prep meals to be distributed to seniors and other community members in need. And they'll receive training, and we'll pay the wages on that. Also, virtual office assistant program that'll work the same way for local youth to work remotely and earn wages to provide basic office support to businesses and nonprofits, or maybe to the city of Hawthorne if needed. A website design program, youth studying graphic design will be able to utilize the skills they are learning through web, social media, and marketing support to nonprofits and small businesses in the area. So we're always thinking about how to go about designing new programs under these terrible circumstances. We also are the administrative entity for the 7 boards in the LA region for a prison to employment program. So individuals are being let out of prison now for various reasons. What we're doing is we're holding virtual job fairs for them, as we just did for many, many youth recently. And we're going to touch 700 formerly incarcerated individuals. We already have several hundred enrolled in that program. So in addition to that, as I mentioned, we have apprenticeship programs and pre-apprenticeship programs. We started an apprenticeship program a couple years ago for aerospace apprenticeship program. It's the first one in the country that was certified, designated by the Department of Labor in Washington. So we have an apprenticeship and a pre-apprenticeship program. Now, because that works so well, we use that as a template to start a bioscience apprenticeship program. And that's underway, and we've already had some graduates there. And we're going to produce over 5,000 apprentices over the next couple of years across the country, about 1,500 from our area or from the LA County area. We also have, and this should be interesting to you, Councilman, an employment training panel program. Businesses that are going to be training their incumbent employees, particularly manufacturers, could be some other businesses as well, but manufacturers especially, if they have training that they want to do for their incumbent workers in order to save their job or hopefully give them a raise because they'll get more skills, come to us. We have funding for that from the state where we could pay for that training. We can reimburse that training for incumbent workers. So those are just a few of the things that we're able to do. And we have special money for individuals that are affected by COVID-19, special grants to serve those residents affected. So I think that's kind of it in a nutshell. Or maybe not such a nutshell. Maybe it was too long I talked, but that's about all I have to say.
Actually, no. You touched on a lot of good points. It's a lot of businesses have been calling myself, especially the chamber, on what different areas could they go to, or what organizations could they have access to in order to actually gain everything that your one organization does. I'm surprised now even to learn how far your arms go and how deep into the state's funding that the South Lake Week has access to, especially on the creating the new job initiatives for the youth and reopening the teen center. I think that's a very phenomenal initiative that you're taking on. I knew the kids, like, being stuck at home all day long would make anyone spin, especially for kids, in high school now.
Right.
You opening that up and giving them a creative and access to be more creative and outside the box and not so tensed. I love it. I love that fact. You know, what's interesting to me is for the job hiring individuals, if a company wanted to hire, say, or a resident's looking to get hired for a job through the South Bay Whip, what would be the best process for them to go about that?
Well, if they're looking for, there's two things. If they're a young person or a youth person, they can contact our teen center. But if they're older youth or an adult, they can contact the Inglewood One Stop Center, which serves Hawthorne. And they can call there for an appointment to come in or to get an interview by virtual interview, by Zoom or such. And we'll provide them all the information that they need as far as jobs that are available, help them prepare a resume if they don't have one, and refer them out to jobs. And again, in many cases, it can be subsidized. Even the businesses that aren't not interested in a subsidy, we can save them enormous amount of money just by doing that screening and recruitment for them. So let's say somebody is recruiting for a particular position. Well, for example, Councilman, you know, when they opened years ago, when they opened the Target and the Costco in Hawthorne, we screened 100% of those people. Virtually everybody they had hired there came through us. We screened them, yeah. And basically, so let's say candidate, we have a particular position. Let's say we would give them 10 candidates for a particular position. Well, 3 of them or 4 of them, maybe we can't subsidize, but we'd send it to them anyway. But somebody that would be eligible for 100% subsidy, well, we'd code them in red or something. Ones that were eligible for a partial subsidy, we can put a blue tag on them or something. So the employer can pick and choose whoever they want, but they'll be able to choose local people, and in some cases get the subsidy and be able to identify those people right off the bat.
No, that's for this for the subsidy part, especially when you're talking about job training for the staff that they currently have. How much does the South Bay Whip actually allocate into? Is it like by different cities, or is it just by how large your corporation? Like how much is subsidized by the South Bay Whip?
Well, it depends on the program. Like I said, if it's a transitional subsidized employment, the one for individual single head of household parents, that's 100% subsidy. That is, in fact, if they're on our payroll, they don't even get reimbursed. We'll pay for those people their salary for half the time, and for the other half of the time, we'll reimburse them 60% of their salary. For another program, it might be different. For a youth, it might be they might be on our payroll 100% of the time for 4 months, 3 or 4 months, or about 200 hours or so. And for those, we would pay for that. So for an on-the-job training position, let's say somebody wants to hire an accountant, but is willing to be flexible as to what the person knows or doesn't know, or is a beginner. Well, maybe the person went to school for accounting, or maybe they have experience in bookkeeping, but they don't have years of experience as an accountant, and they're interested in hiring somebody. Send them to us, and we could put them on the job training because they haven't been in that exact position before, and we can pay somewhere between 50 and 90%. We can reimburse 50 to 90% of that person's wages. So it just depends on the particular program that we put them in, that of what the subsidy would be.
You know, it's almost better than what the state was rolling out in the initial PP, the payroll protection plan.
Well, it's better because it's not going to end in a month, or it's not going to end in 2 weeks, or whatever it is, or you know, unfortunately, there's been a lot of delays from the Fed and from the state trying to provide those payments to the businesses and the individuals. Some of them, you know, haven't received their funds yet. But for us, it's an ongoing program. Thankful for our state legislators who fought like hell to keep our transitional subsidized employment program going. The ones for 100% reimbursement for 5 months and 100% subsidy for the city or for nonprofits. That was being eliminated in the governor's May revise. But thanks to our state legislators, 100% of that money was restored. So
Not what they fought for that hard. I know it's a
absolutely,
last
they
minute.
did. They did, and I really appreciate it, and it's been terrific. So, and again, we've been here 40 years. We're not planning to leave. So, and we come up with new ideas all the time, new programs all the time. I mean, there isn't any other board that I know in the country that has a teen center. Well, we have 2 of them. There isn't too many boards that have apprenticeship programs, although now they may be starting to. So we have some unique programs that are available to our businesses. And I just found out today, I think it was Northrop is putting in for 120 or 160 new apprentices through our program. So
Wow,
that's terrific.
that's a beautiful thing. Now, how can the residents here in Hawthorne or business owners get access or to kind of see the list of potential candidates or to receive?
Just either contact my office, my headquarters on my website, sbwib.org, or call the Inglewood One Stop Center, and they'll give them all the information. But they can always call here, and either myself or Chris Cagle will give them all the information that they need.
Well, that's great. I love to hear that it's that accessible. It's not like you have to go through all these hoops and ladders and all this red tape just to get some resources.
We don't like hoops. We don't like hoops. We don't shoot very good hoops. We're better baseball players than basketball players. So,
we're gonna. Traditionally, how the town halls go is that I start taking in questions from the residents online, almost like a fire chat, and this way they can kind of get their questions answered, and see how we can help them out.
okay.
So the first one we have here. We are.
Baseball players than basketball players. So.
This question comes from Shelley Briggs. Does the South Bay WIP have funding education for displaced workers?
Absolutely, we do. We have our regular funding. We have special funding because of the COVID-19. So if there's a displaced worker, we have special funding for them to, if they need to be retrained or they need to be placed in another job, we'll do everything we can to help them. We have a directory. It's called iTrain. It's on our website. And we have thousands of courses on that website. So they can look at those courses and see what's available or what interests them. And if those schools and programs do not do a good job placing people, they come off our list. So they have to maintain performance in order to stay on our list. And we have more courses than any of the 45 boards in the state of California. So much more actually. So yeah, that's available. And if they review that list first, they may have, they may come in telling us what they would like to try out.
Thank you for answering that. I think a lot of residents were asking the same question. They were really excited about getting to have both of you on the town hall today. Another question coming in is from Gladys Castro. Do we have any adult mental health residential support in Hawthorne when it comes to, say, small to mid-sized businesses? Is that something that's provided through or any access through the South Bay?
Did you say mental health, Council?
Yeah.
So we have partners that do provide that. We have agencies, D.D. Hirsch, we have the Ridgestone Center, there are behavioral health services. So there's a variety of services that are community partners that we can refer people to.
Oh, that's actually great to hear. I know that's one of the biggest topics going on right now is mental health, especially within the remote working environment. It's difficult. It's difficult that you have to not only worry about going through this pandemic and whether or not you're going to get COVID, but just to keep your business doors open and a roof over your head is the hardest thing.
So hard, yeah. It's so hard. But we have to we're going to get through it. I mean,
Yeah.
we're going to get through it. You know, we just have to, we have to put one foot in front of the other and do our best to make it through, and it'll resolve itself. It just takes some time.
Yeah. Another question coming in is, would the funding for education include graduate school?
Well, yes and no. That is, if the graduate school is particular to an occupation, we could probably do it. Like for example, if they're getting a degree in nursing or even a master's degree in nursing. So if it's a special kind of postgraduate education, it could. But for a normal degree, you know, they're going to be a master's in education, well, even with a teaching credential, we can get them. Teaching credential, we could. But if it's you know, just a regular degree without a special emphasis on a particular vocation, then it wouldn't.
That makes sense. Because right now I can see that the education system is getting quite expensive, especially when it goes to gaining the higher graduate degrees. But I know that I think a couple of weeks ago I had Miguel Santiago on, State Assembly members Miguel Santiago, discussing his bill that he pushed forward, giving out free community college tuition to first-time goers and enrollees. So it's a wonderful thing to know that there's these new access to resources that can work in tandem with, you know, organizations.
In the mid 90s, when the aerospace had a big downturn, we took hundreds of dislocated aerospace workers and put them in a teacher training program and placed them in many cities and inner city teaching positions. So it's something that could be done today.
I like that. That's actually that's actually nice. Because you can, especially in the calls from the chamber, I've been getting calls regarding, because the job market has kind of dwindled almost compared to how it was pre-COVID, individuals that have these kind of disabilities are more worried for themselves and how can they get some kind of access to any potential job opportunity to feed their families. And programs like yourself is what we have to promote. Residents had no idea that the South Bay WIT was this much of a playmaker when it comes to, you know, revitalizing a city's economy. And that's one of the main reasons why I wanted to have you here as well, Patricia, is to show that there are resources here. It's just us trying to connect the dots and the bridges between your services and the residents.
Right.
Another question we have here is from Dennis Borov. I help businesses get the WOTC tax incentive. Is there a way I can work with the Inglewood Hiring Center? WOTC is a tax credit that can be moved from year to year. For a new hire, $2,500 to $9,000 for vets.
Okay.
Also credits for those who have hired, laid off, and rehired.
Yeah. I mean, we work with the tax credits as well, and many of the individuals can benefit from the tax credits. The thing is about the tax credits, if I recall correctly, is that you can't take a tax credit for the people during the time that we're subsidizing those people. So the tax credit would have to come after the subsidy is over. So if we're providing, I mean, they can get I forgot what it is, up to $4,500, or maybe it's more than that now, for a tax credit. If we're paying for the person, or even if we're reimbursing the business $4,500, then they couldn't take that $4,500 and get a tax credit for that because they're not paying for it. But the part that we're not paying for, if they're eligible for the tax credit, they could get it. And we could certainly, you know, if that individual has businesses that they want to refer us to, or individuals that we want to, I mean, we partner with all kind of people. Yeah.
Especially with the Richstone Center, can you kind of give a little background? It's a wonderful organization. I've had the opportunity to work with them on a few projects as well. But the resources and services that they provide is very instrumental to a person's day-to-day life.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we work with them occasionally, and they're a very valuable resource to the community. But as far as the work-related stuff, you know, they're not really, it's a little deviation from what we do, but we certainly admire what they do and from time to time do work with them. And, you know, we're open to do more with them and can provide them services and get them, because they're a nonprofit, they can get 10 months of free service from our participants.
That's actually very good to hear. It kind of dawned on me right now as well. So for individuals here in Hawthorne that are looking for, and a way for myself as one of the council members to kind of revitalize Hawthorne's economy, there isn't really a need to have, we're just focusing on the city itself, a high unemployment rate with resources and services like yours. Basically, you're kind of funneling in the people that are looking for work and connecting them with job opportunities with businesses that are looking to hire, especially with locally.
Yeah, well, you know, there's unfortunately, there's a lot more people out of work than there have been in decades and decades. And we certainly have job openings that people, you know, companies hiring people, but it's not enough to fill the gap of all those that have lost their jobs. But it does make there are jobs that are open, there are jobs that are going, and it's a great opportunity for those that aren't working to get some training in an area where we know there's emerging occupations and emerging industries. So it's a great opportunity to take some classes and get themselves prepared for something better than what they've been doing before. Or maybe they simply need a job right now, and we'll do our best to make that happen for them.
Oh, I love that.
Apprenticeship programs. You know, the apprenticeship programs aren't only for the kids that are coming out of high school.
Oh, okay.
But for individuals that are in college or coming out of college, or incumbent workers that are working at certain businesses in the industries that I named, and they can be apprentices as well.
Also, there's no limit to it, to what.
Haidar?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, Pat.
When you're done, I'd like to say something.
Oh, of course. Go right ahead.
Okay, well, I just want to announce to everyone that's listening, and I see that there's a lot of participants listening at this time, that for Thanksgiving, we'll be giving out 350 turkeys and 350 bags of groceries at your facility, which is at the Hawthorne Auto Square, 2 days before Thanksgiving, which would be November 24th, and it will be at 1 p.m. in the afternoon.
Oh, yeah, it's right around the corner. Time's been going by
Right.
quick.
Mm-hmm.
Forgot. Thank you for reminding people. Food is a very hot topic as well. So any way we can kind of help the residents here in Hawthorne struggling, that's all we're here for. For the Jennifer, the apprenticeship program, so there isn't any kind of age restriction or years of service restriction or anything like that. As if you're ready to work, just come by.
Yeah, I mean, it's some of the requirements are difficult. That is, they have to get schooling. They're going to go to school and get hands-on training. So some of the jobs are going to require certain levels of sophistication, certain levels of education requirements, being able to provide math and science literacy appropriately. But it depends on what they're going into. I mean, the healthcare field is part of the bioscience that we're doing with apprenticeship. And in the near future, we want to do a separate apprenticeship program for healthcare as well as for IT. So we're going to add new apprenticeship programs probably every year. Like I said, right now it's primarily bioscience and aerospace, but there's a lot of different occupations within those industries, and we can help them. And again, like I mentioned, the employment training panel is for primarily incumbent workers. So that program can help businesses for training that maybe they were thinking about doing, but were going to put off because they didn't have the money, but they need to do that training for their workers. This would be something that they probably want to investigate, and we can walk them through it and help them.
You know, that's the more and more I hear you, kind of talk about what you provide in the South Bay Whip, I'm surprised you ever get sleep. I
don't sleep. That's why I'm getting old fast. I'm really 120 years old. That's why.
Another question I have here. Let's see. Is from Raymond Vergara. Hello, Chairman of the Board, Jan. Just wanted to let you know that I reached out to Robert Chavez and no one has called me back. I'm looking for a young person to train, high school student preferred, for a busy insurance company. Raymond Vergara, and I can be reached at.
Can I get his name and number, and
yes,
we'll call him right away.
Raymond Vergara, his phone number is 310-868-6964.
Wait a minute, 310-869.
No, 868.
868.
6964.
6964. Well, he'll get a call tomorrow.
Appreciate that. So, having this bridge of communication, this is what we need. Another question's coming in from Mohammed Hatmal. For someone that has lost his job due to COVID back in June and yet to receive any money from the EDD program and just getting the runaround, what do you think is the best route to handle this case or take in this case?
You know, that it's a big problem. I mean, it's a big problem, and unfortunately, what we'd like to do, it doesn't help Mohammed on this, but what we want to communicate to the legislature and to the governor is, the next time something like this takes place, we're in the same buildings as EDD is in many cases. Therefore, if we could help them and provide the services that they need to provide because they're overwhelmed, then it would be beneficial to the state to give us that information so we could help the Mohammeds of the world who haven't been able to access the system successfully yet. You know, all we would do there is probably give him the same numbers and the same website that he's been given before. And it's very unfortunate, you know, it's very unfortunate. But we certainly would be able to help Mohammed as far as either looking for another position or retraining or things like that. We'd be happy to do that. But as far as navigating the EDD system, he can call our Inglewood One-Stop office, get it on the website. It shows our different centers. But we're probably going to give him the same information that he got before, because it's the unemployment division of EDD that he has to deal with.
Yeah, you're right. And they've been struggling with rolling out that program, I think, since inception. It's been, I hate to say it from like on the higher scheme of things, but it has been kind of pathetic in a way. We're dealing with such turmoil that you would expect like something like this that's so essential be taken care of front and center and first.
If anybody is in that position, I mean, I'd be happy to take their call and give them the manager of EDD, not over UI because we can't even access that, but the manager of EDD who has a relationship with the managers from UI, and they can talk to the workforce manager, who can then run interference for them, hopefully, with the UI system. But that's about all I can do.
Better than as he's putting it, getting the runaround. We actually have
Haidar, he would not get the runaround with Jan Vogel because with our security company, Active Security, we have numerous guards that have come through the South Bay Web and the One Stop. We need more guards as of right now. But anytime that we come to Robert Chavez, I assure you, they take care of business.
Yeah, they're not gonna run out from us. It's just that we don't have the control or authority over the unemployment system. So
Yeah,
that's what I
wish
meant
we
by that.
did.
Yeah, I know, I know, I know.
I do have a live call. I think they're raising their hand. They're going to ask their question. His name is Frank Little. Frank Whittle. Let me see if he's. Frank, are you there? Frank Whittle? I think you may be muted. Let's see. Are you able to unmute yourself? Frank? Well, we're gonna. Oh. Well, Frank, if you're able to reconnect or type in your question, we'd love to get that answered. I do see your hand raised here. All right, we'll go on to the next one. Just make sure that you're, once you're ready, let me know. Another question we have here, and we're about to, before you start wrapping up and I start getting into the city business side, and I think this can kind of actually, this question, even though it doesn't really pertain to, you know, what both of you, what both your organizations kind of address, but it kind of does it in a different way. What kind of help or right landlords have with tenants not paying rent? You know, it could be to the point of if it's the issue of not being able to find a job to get those resources and able to pay the rent. I would say from both your standpoints, that's one way you guys could be addressing that situation, is getting those individuals the work that they need.
Of course, there is a moratorium now on paying rent for a while. It's been passed recently. It's been extended recently. Although eventually they have to pay back that rent. So it's sort of robbing Peter to pay Paul. I mean, people have to be aware of that. That's my that's what I remember about it. But yeah, it would help them to be able to pay rent if they had a job, you know. So
Right.
we can do our best to help them with that.
Now,
If they want any information about what the law says or this and that, I mean, we'd be happy to go over it with them, or to talk to our partners who can go over it with them.
Now, with the new rollout with the restrictions being lifted by the governor's office, has that kind of increased the job opportunities that are coming through your office?
A little too early to tell right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little too new, but I'm sure that it will. I'm sure that it will.
Yeah, hopefully that new easing of the restriction, I think it was like 25%, that indoor establishments that are indoor can open up to 25% capacity.
Yeah, it'll probably be the people that have been laid off, you know, from those institutions will get rehired and be able to go back and be able to work there, at least some of them. But you know, there's a lot of jobs now. There's jobs in security, special security, as Patricia mentioned, special types of surveillance, couriers to be able to move logistics, people moving packages from one area to another and delivering services. And there's a lot of industries that are going to expand based upon doing things remotely and virtually. Opens up a whole other field of industry that we never thought of before. So those are types of things that people might want to either try to get a job in or try to get educated in, because those jobs will last a while once they get them.
And the residents out here should know that, and those watching at home, you shouldn't have the fear of, am I qualified or am I trained enough in that area? Luckily enough that Jan, Vogel, and the South Bay WIP and Patricia have resources and funds to get you that retraining. So never think that there's no way out of your situation or there's no opportunity to kind of reshift your environment.
You know, Haidar, the other thing I didn't mention was there's a lot of we have construction jobs that are going to go on for the next 10 years. I mean, construction jobs haven't stopped. LAX is at least 10 years out as far as how much work they have done.
Right.
Doing the construction, and we had virtual job fairs for Hawthorne residents as well as some other residents for the SoFi Stadium where the Rams and Clippers are. Going to be a new stadium being built in Inglewood for the Clippers. Going to be lots of construction jobs with the water basin. There's new construction going on. So anybody who's interested in construction should call the One Stop Center, because we were doing workshops every other Friday, recruitments and workshops every other Friday just for construction. So that's, I wanted to mention that field for you.
You know, since you touched on that, it kind of gave me an idea. What do you think of holding, or what would your ideas be on holding like a virtual job fair?
We did. We just had a virtual job fair wasn't for construction, because we've been doing that for 2 years now, but we just did a virtual job fair about 1 month to 2 months ago for SoFi Stadium, for all the positions, the ancillary positions that are being hired for SoFi Stadium. And in fact, we just had locally about 75 people hired there.
Wow.
So that is going on. That's going on right now. And the youth involved, you know, we had a youth job fair recently, and we prepared some of the youth with elevator speeches. So many of them had 30 seconds to do an elevator speech for the employers that were there, and they loved it, and the employers loved it. So we're kind of learning as we go how best to, what input we should provide to those employers to get them excited about hiring our people.
You know, I think and all this, of course, can be found on your website, and I'll be placing those same links on my website, and promoting these upcoming job fairs. We'll take in a few. I know you guys are busy schedules. I'll take a couple more questions left that seem important, and then I'll stick around to answer everything else. Let's see. There was a question and maybe we'll just have it for everyone to get answered as well. This is from Tina, Kathy. Jan, could you provide the South Bay WIPS number again, live for everyone?
Phone number?
Yes.
Well, our phone number is 310-970-7700. And the One Stop Center in Inglewood is, in Inglewood, which is, you know, where the operations is, it would be 310-680-3700.
All right.
For Hawthorne residents, they would want to call that, but if they have any problems or questions or whatever, they can call here.
We have Frank Whittle, jump back on, saying, I am a 60-year-old petroleum engineer laid off 5 years ago due to oil gas business recession around the USA world. I don't have any content to get a job. Interviews were turned down due to my age, I think. So what is the best outlet for me? And can you please advise me?
Well, let us, you know, call up. We'll assign you a case manager, and we'll work with you on trying to find the right fit for you. I mean, the oil companies are, you know, they have their struggles, but you know, there are car companies now, electric car companies that are hiring people. You know, there's several of them in the South Bay area, and maybe one of those companies would fit your qualifications. I don't know, but we have to look into that. Or maybe it would fit into some area of the construction that goes on. But call up our Inglewood One Stop, make an appointment to go in there, and if you have any problems, then call me.
Thank you for answering that. We have two that I'm going to take in, the last two. Then I have to let my wonderful guests go. Do you offer, any organizations offer any kind of training on how to use Zoom? You know, that is being a big thing now.
Yeah,
Zoom.
We are doing that, and that is needed right now. Yeah. So we have people that can use our resource center, and we're providing, and that's one of the things, as I said, we're going to do with the little elementary kids. The high school kids are going to be ambassadors for them to teach it. But we're getting better and better at these social platforms like that, and we do have some workshops on that.
And look, if anyone else, if you need extra hands on there, Jan, I think I'm pretty well equipped with Zoom. I can help out with that as well.
Okay.
And the last one we're going to take into is, Jan, can you discuss on the qualifications for those construction jobs? Some of our community people are ex-cons.
Yeah, well, like I said, we're the administrator of the prison to employment program for all of LA County. So we're getting referrals just for that program for people that are ex-offenders. So that's a particular program that we know a lot about, and we could refer you to the right center throughout the county, depending upon where you live. If you live in Hawthorne, then we would serve you out of the Inglewood office. But absolutely, I mean, call the Inglewood Center, tell them you're an ex-offender and you're interested in getting in construction. Did you say?
Yeah, construction.
We have lots of ex-offenders that we've hired in construction, lots of them. So that's something that's not going to go against him in any way.
Perfect. Actually, for Dennis, for you, it looks like we have Susie Tyler. I'm going to give you her contact information. Mentions that I'd love to help out as a technical resource volunteer. Is that possible?
Technical resource volunteer?
I guess with how you're getting especially with the youth, how you're training them on, with Zoom and trying to get themselves up and running with, volunteer elevator pitches.
Yes, and then email me and send me the information and what you want to do and this and that, and we'll look into it. We like volunteers.
So Susie, I'll make sure to grab your information. I'll be also posting Jan's information to, for yourselves to email as well. Like you said, he's looking for volunteers, and it's always good to help the community you're in.
Sure.
Before I wrap up and have you guys both kind of give a little ending wraparound between both your organizations. One last one. I think it's pretty important. Is job training only for the unemployed?
No, we have incumbent worker training, is what I was mentioning before on the ETP program. And also on our regular program, a certain percentage of the funds we set aside for incumbent workers.
Yep.
So the answer is not only for the unemployed.
If you're employed or unemployed, if you're looking for any kind of job training to help yourself progress through your work field, Jan can provide it for you.
Right.
All right, with that, I kind of wanted to let you guys, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. You guys are both extremely busy. And this way I can go ahead kind of go into the other half of my town hall.
Okay.
I kind of want to let you guys kind of, end up with how they should contact you and sign off.
Yeah, I just thank you for the opportunity to address the Hawthorne community. Hawthorne's very, very close to my heart. My administrative office is in Hawthorne.
Right.
And we'll, whatever we can do to help, we're there to help. And if you're not sure if we can help, call us anyway, because you don't know unless you ask. And we're pretty easy to reach. And you can reach us on our website and see our phone numbers and all that. So thanks, Haidar.
No, thank you, Jan, for joining my town hall today. Patricia?
Well, thank you very much for having us on and having me on. And if they need anything, they can call the chamber. They can call my cell, which is 310-754-9564. And not to forget that we'll be having our Thanksgiving turkey giveaway at your place at the Hawthorne Auto Square. And at Christmas time, we'll be at the Memorial Center doing the same thing, but adding toys. So anyone that does work and does have money, they can also help us out with toys and food and turkeys. And thank you very much.
No, thank you both. And one last thing to kind of let the residents know, both of your offices do work hand in hand with each other. And I know from
Absolutely.
my experience, you guys have known each other for years and worked together.
Yes.
Before you guys sign off, can you kind of describe the interaction? Like they contact the chamber, that's another avenue to contact Jan and the South Bay Whip.
Well, usually when people call us about a job, we immediately refer them to Jan Vogel's office and to Robert Chavez. And so far in over 20 years, we've never had a problem with anyone saying that they're unhappy.
All right. Well, thank you guys again. Appreciate you guys helping out the
Thank
Hawthorne
you.
residents. And I'll make sure to keep posting your information up.
Okay.
Try and get these residents back in the working environment.
All right, Haidar.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
All right, take care.
You too, you guys. Let's see here. Right, everyone. So this is the other side of the town hall, where I can kind of go over additional information and answer any of the questions that were kind of left on the chat here that weren't answered just yet. Let's see. This is from one resident asking, I don't know if this is off topic, off topic. In my apartment, there's no COVID rules. People gather around without masks the whole day. And if we complain to the manager, she tells the people who complain, oh, are making conflict. I see. You know, that's very sad to hear that if you are kind of, worried about large groups interacting, especially with this whole COVID pandemic going on, and the second you do address it with the manager, I believe it's like the property manager, and if they're telling the individuals who's complaining about them, of course it's going to cause some kind of rift between the neighbors, and I think it's the last thing even a property manager or owner would want to have within their establishment. And you also mentioned there's no COVID rules and without masks. That's very scary. I know that especially on the state side, there are restrictions on the amount of how big a group can be and how many people can congregate into one section. If you can give me a call once I log off, this way I can kind of get a little more information on it, because the last thing we want to do is we're almost at that cusp of reopening. We were taken off the governor's watch list. So knock on wood, I want to continue that moving forward. The sooner we can get our businesses up and running and having our city kind of open and free again, the sooner we can get this dark cloud that's over us kind of away. So if you can give me a call, that would be great. I want to address that. I don't want to see another spike happen here. With the COVID center that we have here in the city, we've done a tremendous job of getting those numbers that the governor wants in order to get the percentage low enough to go back to normal and reopening. I'll be posting a video up soon regarding that and how the testing center is actually helping us reopen our city and our economy. Another question I have here is, this is from Frank Whittle. Your connection was faulty, but I thank you for all the meetings. My question was, I was on track with starting a small business. Do you recommend that entrepreneurs launch their business in this climate? I'm a single mom of 4 with my master's in social work and my master's in public administration. First off, congratulations to acquiring both those degrees. I know how hard it is to get over 1 master's degree. The fact that you went after 2 in those fields, that's tremendous work. I just finished mine too, so both mine, so I can understand the headache and stress you went through. And the number, let's see here. You meant the number to call me. I thought you meant to call Jen. So that number is 310-418-8255. 5955. Again, that's 310-418-5955. So to kind of answer your to kind of touch on your question, what kind of, let me see here. Oh, where'd it go? It really depends on what kind of business that you're trying to open up. There's always a risk to any kind of, entrepreneurial job opening, and every type of, I want to say, industry that you're trying to go into has its downs and ups. Can you give me a little more information on what you're trying to open up? Now, if you're trying to open up something that's on like the digital platform and that kind of area, and not brick and mortar, then yeah, there is a good opportunity now to take advantage of that. I would, at least for now, I would kind of stress against opening anything that's brick and mortar, especially at least now, for now. The fact that you can't really have consumers come into your establishment, and even though we're opening up, I think up to 25% now and gradually continue to open, just in the meantime, you want to kind of take that initial liability off and just stick to anything that can be done on e-commerce. But I would say that it's better to start than not, because after a while, you always fall in this kind of trap where you keep saying, one day I'm going to do it, one day I'm going to do it, to the point where, years go by and you start hating yourself for not taking that risk. But I would wait. If it's brick and mortar or anything that has to do with being inside, then I would kind of be hesitant and wait a little bit. You don't want to kind of kick off your grand opening and then not being able to take in any customers. But again, if it's built around the e-commerce sphere, then yes, or any kind of like caseworking or therapy or any kind of online service you can provide, then yeah, I would go for that. Another question we have here is, I've run into several people who have never heard of your Hawthorne Good Neighbors Meal Project with Bill and Medici. Can you touch on that? Actually, thank you for asking that question. So for the Hawthorne Good Neighbors Meal Project, I do promote. I send out blast emails and on my social media platforms. And I've recently kind of taken, I want to say between, let's say 8 to 10 meals a day to the community fridge that we have here in Hawthorne. And those tend to be like the leftovers that aren't, picked up. So for the Hawthorne Good Neighbors Meal Project, what that's all about is, so I work with Medici here, and it's kind of a way to, it's a program that came to me about revitalizing the restaurant industry here in the city, working with different restaurants, getting these kind of donations where they can rehire their laid off staff or hire new additional staff at the same time providing meals to the residents. So with this donation where I'm getting from other companies and from myself, we would donate to these different restaurants where they can use that to, again, rehire laid off staff or hire new staff, and just to revitalize our restaurant industry here in the city of Hawthorne. And then from those meals, every week there'll be a set amount of meals that I would, in a sense, purchase to be given out to families that are in need. So if you can go into my website, you'll see the Hawthorne Good Neighbors Meal Project. If you know a resident that's in need of it, or if you want to also, if you know individuals that are homeless here in the city of Hawthorne that could use a good meal, a warm meal, by all means, please sign up for it. You can find the link on my website, on my social media platforms. Check your emails for the email blast, but it's a wonderful way to kind of get people back into working, especially if they work in the restaurant industry. In addition to that, the donated foods that I give out every day to the community fridge here in Hawthorne, started by Brody, which to day one, I believe it's one of the coolest things to ever happen. I know there was a little issue that occurred with it a few days, I think last Friday, which kind of astounded me. And I'm gonna have a separate office hours tonight discussing that. I have some videos to kind of go over that whole situation. I was there Thursday putting in meals. Friday, it was taken away without a valid reason. Even till now, I still haven't gotten a good valid reason of why that occurred. And then within a few hours, it was brought back by the city. I think it was the worst move to do, to go after a community fridge especially when there's a Community Cares Act that kind of holds anyone that's a part of it with no liability. And that was a case that happened a long time ago with KFC. They were donating food they were working with a nonprofit donating food to certain regions here in California. And I think it was from the volunteer side, or the case might be, I remember reading that case a long time ago. Some of the individuals got sick from taking in the donated food, but it wasn't any reason from KFC itself. It could have had something to do with the volunteers, but it was only a few people that got sick, and then those individuals sued KFC. But from that, the judge kind of went in favor of KFC, mentioning that if it's and that's where this is where the what did I say, what was it called again? Not the Good Samaritan. Yeah, the Good Samaritan Act came out of, which kind of takes away liability from organizations that are trying to help out by giving out food, where they will not be held liable. As long as it's not something atrocious, like if they were giving out raw meat on purpose, then yeah, of course that's their fault. But this way, it takes away that wall of fear from having people partake in these kind of organizations and to help out their community, not being afraid of getting sued. This is the same kind of sheltering that the Community Fridge had. So I am going to jump online a little bit later to discuss our park revamp program for Ramona and Holly Park. I was supposed to discuss that last week. My Zoom was acting up where I couldn't share my screen. Everything's up and running. My presentation's on that. But yeah, thank you for asking that question. And please, if you know someone that can use a meal, or you can use a meal yourself, just sign up, please. And Medici's doing a wonderful job. I do also, after donating the rest to the Community Fridge, I do also drive the meals to residents that can't make it to the restaurant themselves or don't have a car. So I am like your personal Uber Eats, Postmates, DoorDash driver. So if you need a meal delivered, just let me know as well. And I'll drive it over. I'll take a few more questions, but I am going to be jumping back on at 7:30. I want to get all my other presentations up and present to you guys the new park revamp we're doing and some of the new city initiatives that we have that I want to promote. Let's see, I'll take in a few more. Gladys, you asked about post signage from CDC. If you can kind of elaborate on that, that'd be great. Let's see, I know I have a bunch of other questions here. Oh, I also wanted to, I'll be also discussing the drive-in movie theater that we have set to go up. Everything's almost done, locked and loaded. Also have a presentation to give out on that as well later on tonight. Gladys, you mentioned a cleaning company. Can Hawthorne develop a city cleaning program with the folks who want to work to clean up Hawthorne, pick up trash and dumped furniture funded by the city? Yeah, that's a very good idea. A funded task force just specifically on picking up the garbage. You know, I don't see why, I don't see why not. It does sound like a very cool initiative to have. And I don't think Republic would not, so Republic Services is in charge of picking up the very heavy large items. But for everything else, I know I've been going out there cleaning up, especially behind DD's and 99-cent store, in some of the parks as well. If some of you seen the videos I posted, there tends to seem to be a lot occurring. I don't know why, but I think having more of the residents out participating might change the outlook of everyone else trying to continue dumping trash here in the city. I like that idea. And I don't think it'll take that much funding, honestly. It's like a little task force that's funded by the city that would just continue to pick up trash. I can look into that. I do like that idea. Someone asked me about the last Friday, I believe, or the last Thursday. My last office hours I was supposed to have. I had all these presentations set and ready to go, but then Zoom was having this technical problem where it went down and we couldn't share our screen. We could share our webcam, but we couldn't share anything that was not on our screen. And I had a lot of presentations around that, and I kept going back and forth trying to get that all set up, and it's finally up and running, thankfully. So that's why later on tonight, I'm gonna be jumping back on to discuss what I had to discuss last week and the presentations I was gonna give on a whole wide range of services and initiatives and projects that I'm about to be holding. So expect within that 7:30 for me to be back on live to go over what I had for last week. But it's all cool and fun programs. I also want to talk about the community fridge and the new guidelines that were coming in from the governor regarding businesses opening up. Let's see. I know I'm gonna take a few more before I take a little break and then jump back on and get my presentations ready for you guys. Let's see. Make sure I answered everything. Can you? Nancy, no, thank you for joining, and Maria Austin, thank you for asking that question. She asked, how can I get a sign for you as mayor to be put in my yard? Give me a call or email me. I've delivered some recently. It gives me a way and excuse to come out of being enclosed all the time. Unfortunately, there's no way to have like this whole outside interaction. I wish we could. I don't want to, get individuals sick or anything like that, or they're in fear. But if you would like me to deliver your sign, by all means, either call me or send me a text or email, and I'll be out there. This way I have the permission to go there. Again, it gives me that interaction and not having to be stuck inside an office or a room 24/7. And ordering the food as well. Please, if you don't have a car or you want me to deliver it to a resident that you know is in need of it, or a senior, I have no problem with delivering the foods myself. I actually chose that to be put upon myself. And again, it helps me get out of being inside all day. Martha, thank you for asking that. So I know I've been getting a lot of reports of trash being picked up and taken care of. But you're saying that the furniture is still there and eucalyptus park. I will follow up with that one. I am happy to say that a lot of the trash has been picked up after, having this connection line built between City Hall and the residents. Kind of puts them in the hot seat of they have to take care of it. So knock on wood, a lot of trash has been being picked up, but again, there's always more work and we're not as fully staffed as we once were. But I'll take care of that one right now for you. Eucalyptus Park. And I'll resend a notice now with you and myself CC'd on it. And then see where, I know they had a long list of places to go and take care of. I want to see where that complaint is on the list and have it pushed up. And if they take any longer, and they have me go out and do it, I'm sure they're going to hear that from myself in the morning. Manny, Melissa, thank you for joining. What about the park bathrooms? I know they've taken care of some park bathrooms and some have been locked up. Which in particular, which park are you referencing to that I can send over to staff? If you can let me know, I can send that one over. Oh, and on screen, you can see that was posted on screen a few minutes ago. Those are the links that you can email any of your issues to and report whether you want to find assistant requests for anyone that's struggling and going through being homeless, to reporting dumping and fireworks. What's nice is I think there might be a glitch on there, as I can see, where it says report dumping for fireworks. It's report fireworks at HaidarHawthorne.com. But I'm also going to be presenting the numbers on those as well. I'm happy to say that a lot of trash has been picked up and a lot of fireworks. It's been quieter, knock on wood, thankfully. Best time to call. So I'm going live at 7:30. I would say give me a call at 7:15. This way I can get a little something to eat and not be so parched before I jump on. That would be great. And also everyone, remember that on my every social media platform that I have, in addition to my website, there is a where it says book now. So I do hold, you can book a 15 to 30 minute appointment at the same time, book any kind of other service that you need. So I list a long list of services that you can discuss on, and each one has a different time frame. So please just click on that. My schedule's up there. I hold them every day at particular hours. And once you make your appointment, it's locked and loaded. And I hold them, I believe, so Monday through Sunday, 10 to 12. Mondays and Tuesdays, every Monday through Sunday is from 10 to 12 in the morning. And then for evening hours, Monday and Tuesday are from, I want to say I have them from 7 to, I know when I changed the office hours and town hall times. Let's see here, just to make sure I'm giving the right. On the screen here, you can see the virtual office hour times and my bi-monthly virtual town halls, but let me get you guys and this is also something I'm going to be going over at 7:30 as well, a more in-depth jump in on scheduling an appointment, and they're every day. Here we go. Okay, and so the services that I'm providing for like basically appointment topics that you can sign up for are COVID-19 sign up, 30-minute appointment, 15-minute, the Hawthorne Good Neighbors Meal Project, or volunteer sign up. The 15 or 30-minute is basically you can discuss whatever that's in your head or what you're dealing with, and the other services that if you're signing up for those, this way I know ahead of time what websites and things to have up and running when I jump onto that call. Now, I'll be on Zoom. You don't have to be. And what's nice is that the call just routes through your cell phone. This way, if I have to show you a walkthrough through anything, I can still show you through my screen and you can remain private. So again, it's from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Every day. Those are the morning, afternoon hours. And then for the evening hours, it's Monday and Tuesday from 8 to 10. Am I right with that? Yes. From 8 to 10 is Monday and Tuesday in the evening. For Wednesday to Sunday, it's 6 to 8. And the reason why Monday and Tuesdays are 8 to 10 is council's on Tuesday. So once I jump out of council, I go right into the appointments that are set. And Mondays because of the office hours. So yeah, make sure to jump on when you see book or set more, please click on that to schedule an appointment. They're done in increments of 15 to 30 minutes and 10 minutes. So just pick whichever one you would like, and I'll be there. I'm gonna take a few more, and then I'll take a break until 7:30 when I jump back on. Let's see. Eddie Fun Ikimufuna. I'm sorry if I pronounced your last name incorrectly, but your question is, we need some assistance with homeless camp next to our gated community. What can you do to help us? If you can let me know, or if you want to if you want to tell me privately, or let me know exactly where, that way I can kind of help address that situation. Because what we're doing is we have these services that help get the, we provide assistance to those individuals that are in these encampments. We'll bring in caseworkers and things like that to try and get them back on their feet and to be, not in that predicament, but at the same time, not having to be in a homeless camp around your area as well. So it's kind of like a win-win scenario where at least this way I know where they are, the city knows where, we can go out there and address and help them out, and then make both sides very happy. It's more than just like, going in there, taking them out and throw them out. It's more of, we're going there with caseworkers to find out exactly what's going on, and then provide them resources that they can contact, and even drive them over to and provide shelter for them, so they don't have to continue living on the street at least. That's one way we can address it. I know that we work with PATH, and there's another organization that we work with as well that provides them temporary housing. So please let me know where. This way we're not having to create this whole, we don't want them to, I don't want them to feel like it's that they're, a nuisance. At the same time, that's why we want to provide them, access to resources, so that when we're coming in there, I don't want them to be fearful. Oh no, it's the, big brother coming in to, kick us out. It's not. No, these are the resources I don't think you know about, and I think they could be beneficial. So the sooner that we get to know where they are, the faster I can put PATH and St. Margaret's Center, and there's another task force that we just recently picked up on, to really help address that whole, to help them out. Let's see, I'll take a few more. Jacqueline Venezuela, thank you for joining today. How can I get a campaign sticker for cars? The same way I get. I think that's pretty cool. Give me a call. That's something I haven't thought of. We have magnets, but I think we're getting some campaign sticker for cars. So give me a call. I can also deliver that too. Anyway, you guys can get me out of having to be in front of a screen all day. I'm always up for it. So let me know, and just give me a call or send me an email, and I'll get those out to you. Manny, Melissa, I haven't forgotten about you as well. Jim Thorpe. Oh, Jim Thorpe. I know we took care of Ramona and Holly Park recently, but Jim Thorpe. Jim Thorpe men's is open but never clean. Homeless people sleeping in there as well, and the girls is locked. You know what I'm thinking? If the girls were locked, then the men's might have been locked at the same time, and it could have been broken into. I couldn't see. I couldn't understand why they would lock one and keep the other one open. Doesn't make sense. And the best possible answer to that is that it might have been locked in the beginning, and the chain must have been recently broken off. So I'll address that as well. And the individuals inside, I'll get the necessary resources for them to kind of get up and running. On the screen, you can also see that here are the numbers for the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, which is ran by Jan Vogel, who's on today. There's the Inglewood One Stop, which he's also over. And that's their phone number and their address, in addition to the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce, her phone number and their address. They're all very local. I'm happy to say that both their headquarters are in Hawthorne, on Hawthorne Boulevard, actually. So very easy to see and get to. And this way I kind of wanted to promote what resources that I'm working with now to kind of get you guys up and running again. It's been that way for months, really? The girls locked and the men's opened. Okay. And actually, that's a good topic that you're touching on. My 7:30 today is going to be on parks. Uh, I think I might start at 7:45 just so I can kind of advertise it out to the community and the residents about that office hours I'm holding tonight. But I'm going to be talking about parks, our new programs for that, initiatives and the cleanups. So what you're touching on is very important, that the fact that there's kids at the park and that's what we have them for, but they can't use the restroom. Okay. What I could also do at the same time is while I'm live, I can type out the email. And as I'm typing it live, you can address to me what else needs to be looked at. And then this way I can have it CC'd and sent. It's all about transparency. The fact that you can see me typing it and sending it out means that that's one thing I can check off. I know there's a couple more. I'll take a couple more questions in. I'm trying to go back in the feed. So if you did have a question, please send it again. I didn't want to make sure I didn't miss it. I like the name. Helen and Gladys Community Works instead of public. That's so cool. Actually, I want that now. I want to start that. Just the fact that community works and they can be inside public works. That is so. That's a really cool idea. And you're saying downtown LA pays the homeless to clean up the city. Huh. You know, see, that's a way of getting them back on their feet. I like that. If you can send me some information on that, Gladys, or if you wanted to wait till when I'm back on live again, that would be great. I think that's pretty cool. Looking through your last feed. Daniela, again, thank you for not only participating in tonight's town hall, but being the amazing chef that you are and helping me cook, or at least, you know, more of the cooking, because I'm nowhere near your level, and providing these meals for the Hawthorne Meal Project. William Cortez and Brian Lee. In the beginning, you guys mentioned, can all businesses in Hawthorne open with restrictions? And Brian, you mentioned that City Council, like Idaho, did vote to remove all COVID restrictions. I did hear about that, and yes, they did. And they're like, you know, it's kind of like being the mayor of LA. When you're that large of a municipality, or if you like, you know, the county, if they vote, we kind of have to, we follow, even though we have our own local municipality, the governor's rules and laws kind of supersede ours. We do have some wiggle room, but if they come in, crack down saying, you know, if we reopen 100% and they come in and say, whoa, no, you're not allowed to do that, we really can't say. We can try, but I know we do have some wiggle room. So we are, so to kind of answer both your questions, can all businesses in Hawthorne open with restrictions? Yes, and that's something I'm going to be discussing today at 7:30, 7:40-ish. And it's going over the new rules and rollout of here in the city of what businesses can reopen and by how much. I do know that we are allowed to reopen and start reopening all businesses in different fields and industries. And there's a certain percentage to that as well, but I'm happy to say at least we're opening up something so that people can get back to work and people can go out and start shopping and partaking in their local community. So please jump back on. I also have those on my slides I wanted to present. You know, to make sure I add more information on that, I'm kind of going over it. I might be saying 8 o'clock tonight. But I'm going to send that out now. But yeah, jump on. I'm going to be talking about the opening phase for the city and the county that was recently passed by the governor. Thank you, Susie, for jumping on. Brian, thank you. Hi, Haidar, I'm a citizen and want. Hi, Haidar, I'm a citizen and want legal for law-abiding citizens to legally carry a firearm like Orange County does. How can we make this reality? Times are crazy and we need more defense in this chaotic climate. OC did that recently. Was that a council vote or a county vote or done by the state reps on that side? I know something that wide range is more on a state initiative side. I did hear something about OC moving forward on that. So if you want to give me some information on exactly what your question is on and how they, went about doing that. That'd be great. I think that was on that one. And I think the last one we have here, I remember someone asked me about opportunity zones was the last, trying to see if I can. That's WTC. What is this happening? Petroleum. Also, in regards to having help on Zoom, if anyone needs help working Zoom or how to function with it, you can give me a call. Luckily I've been trained with Zoom prior to COVID. A lot of my degree classes when I was in my MBA and MP at USC, a lot of them were through Zoom. So sadly, I'm well versed in it. Artrice Wynn, thank you so much for jumping on. I do owe you a call today as well. And everyone, Artrice is one of the nurses here. She's going to kill me for that. The EOA here for the COVID-19 Center, the operations administrator, and she's also one of the individuals helping me with setting up the drive-in movie theater that we're going to be holding. We are delayed a week. I wanted to tell you that over the phone call. I knew you were going to be a little sad about that, but the company was booked up until next week. So luckily we have them locked. So that's something we're going over with you tonight. In addition to, can we get signs for our cars? Yes, you can. Just let me know how many and when, and I'll get those up and running. Now, is it like a magnet or like a campaign bumper sticker? And also thank you for all the work that you guys have been doing at the center. I saw that the residents are showing some love by giving out, coming over and giving like little care baskets and goodies and thank you cards. So again, thank you for the hard work you guys are doing there. You guys are the true MVPs, doing a lot more work than what I pretend to do. I think, whoa, 8 signs. Look at that. I'm happy to see that there's this movement of love right there. So I'll get on that right away. And Jacqueline Venezuela, where is drive-in movie theater going to be? So the movie theater is going to be, and as we're like wrapping up, planning it up, I had the idea of, I'm going to be talking about today at 8 o'clock. Looks like 8 o'clock from how it looks like. So it's going to be at the Memorial Center. And I'm trying to work with them of having it every week, not just a one-time thing. Because of COVID and the distance, yes, we can have a lot of cars at the Memorial Center, at the parking facility, or really anywhere else. I'm also trying to see other locations that we can hold it if that area becomes an issue. But that's the first spot that we're looking into, and I'm trying to have it every week, and every week we'll have a different movie. And the residents are the ones picking it out. And, of course, they're going to be all family friendly. The first one we're going to look into is the live version, the new Mulan movie that came out or is coming out. To being the first one, I know that they say they can hold, 750 people is, the range they say that the screen can hold. Of course, we're not going to be anywhere near that because of COVID. That's why I'm trying to work with it every week to have, residents that couldn't partake the first time, jump on the next one. But it's going to be COVID compliant. The company itself is also COVID compliant with all the necessary paperwork as well. So I'm going to be talking about that tonight at 8 as well, when I jump onto the other office hours to do a follow-up on everything else. And it's free to the public, so do not worry about having to pay. All you have to do is make sure you sign up. Let's see, before I end off, Shelly Briggs, you asked a question. I think this will be the last question. Are there any opportunity zones in Hawthorne? I asked that similar question recently, and I believe I have that in my email from the state treasurer discussing where opportunity zones are located, but not just here in the city of Hawthorne, just regionally, because I want to kind of help get our residents up and moving and getting jobs, or start opening up businesses here around us in the city or inside. So I will jump on that as well at 8 o'clock. I'll create a slide for that. Hopefully there's an opportunity zone. I remember I wanted to see if we can or implement a new opportunity zone, because we haven't had one in a while. And especially now it's becoming a hot topic because every city can use it. So I'm gonna look at that email now and the package she sent me and seeing where they are located. I hope there are some here in the city of Hawthorne. That's the reason why I looked into it more, is to find out exactly if there are being funded by the state. And if not, that's exactly why I had the state treasurer on with me, is to find ways, if that's what we're lacking in, let's start moving on setting that up. And then the last thing, William, thank you for bringing up the mall question. If you can hold up for like 8 o'clock, that would be great. This way I can kind of get my presentation, because that's something else. That's what's going to be on the 8 o'clock office hours tonight. Regarding the Hawthorne Mall and the redevelopment of the RFK, are there any plans to open the Hawthorne Mall or redevelop the Robert F. Kennedy Hospital into multi-level homes? That's going to be a topic at 8 o'clock, so please hold that until then. I'll be answering that question, because if I just keep going, I'll push that meeting over. I'll push that live session back and back and back. And Raymond Vergara, Haidar, I want to congratulate you on your leadership, and happy to hear that you have been doing a good job. But I have 2 issues I need your support on. The first is Eucalyptus Park. Due to the gym closures, I frequent the park every morning. Oh, nice. And have noticed that the track is uneven and standing water on some areas. Oh, I don't like that. That kind of brings mosquitoes into. It makes it impossible to run, correct. Can you reach out to Park and Recs? I will be happy to send you the photos. Thanks, Raymond Bagheera. Raymond, again, that's a beautiful topic you touched on, something I'll be talking about at 8. So if you can send me the photos, this way when I jump on at 8, I can live type that email and shoot it off to Parks and Rec with those photos that you have. And this way you guys can see hold me accountable for actually making sure that things are getting sent out. So 8 o'clock, please, Raymond, have those photos ready for me, and I'll type in that request. And William Cortez, hold on to that question until 8 as well, when I jump back on. And everyone else, thank you again for joining me on this office virtual town hall. I'll be holding one again at 8 to follow up on the one last week when I had technical difficulties. But again, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys at 8.